Hey, Allison Verhalen here, and today I am going to go over some of the most common SEO terms that you should know if you don't already. This is something I talk a lot about with people in terms of their marketing content, right? Is that it needs to be in the language of your audience. There is a very long history of using language to intentionally make people feel alienated, right? If you want to know why higher classes use certain language that the lower classes did not, that was 100% intentional. It was to let them know exactly where they belong. Because, oh, you don't know what this word means? Oh, well, you must not belong to the right people, so to speak. So, since in marketing, you never want to alienate people, I can't believe it took me this long to come up with a list of SEO terms. This is something I tend to do on the fly, and I always do this on the fly. Anytime I come across a word, even SEO, which by the way stands for search engine optimization. Yes, I will cover that one. As well as what is a search engine? What are we talking about when we talk about PPC or CPC or keyword difficulty, right? So I created a blog post that covers every relevant SEO term I could think of and their definitions. So you can go over to my blog to check that out. That is AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com/blog. You can check it out over there. I am going to give you some of the terms here. It is a very long list, so I'm not gonna list out everything right now. I think that would be a pretty boring video, but I will do some of the big ones. So, search engine optimization, also known as SEO. How I tend to define this is just making Google your friend, because everyone understands that. What is SEO? Well, that's search engine optimization. Okay, that doesn't really help. I still don't know what that means. So I break it down even further and translate the full phrase into it's just making Google your friend. It's the process of following Google's best practices so your content stands out and Google goes, oh, yes, now I know what this website is about, this content is about. I know which searches to pair it with. And I'm going to rank it highly because it's really great content and it answers all of the users' questions related to this topic. So that is what we talk about when we talk about search engine optimization. Search engine, let's break it down even further to what is a search engine. And I love this question because when we talk about SEO, we're talking about Google, right? It is not the only search engine on the market by far. It just dominates 90% of the search market. So that's why when we talk about SEO, it's like, yeah, there's Bing, there's DuckDuckGo, there are other options, but the vast majority of people are using Google. So that's what we talk about. It is important as well to know what other search engines are available. Amazon, for example, has its own search engine. So a lot of people, if they're looking for something specific, they won't even go to Google. They'll just go straight to Amazon. I do that all the time. Knowing I need something, not sure where to get it from, one of the first places I look is Amazon. Social media has their own search bars. That's their own search engine, and they have their own algorithm that they use that's very different from Google's algorithm. So I think it's important to know what we're talking about when we talk about a search engine. It is any online software that helps you find content within a certain cache, which is another term I'll get into a little bit later. Next up is voice search. This is super important because until recently, all searches, fairly recently, I mean, as a voice search has been around for a few years, but the first 10, 20 years of search was all typing, using your keyboard to type something into a search bar. The vast majority of searches are still done that way, but more and more searches are being performed vocally, which means people go, hey, Siri, how many teaspoons in a tablespoon, right? And then Siri gives them the answer. So why this matters is because people interact with search engines differently when they're asking these questions verbally rather than using a keyboard. Whether it's a physical keyboard or a keyboard on a screen, they engage with it differently. So it's important to know, like, how do they phrase a question when they're doing so verbally rather than when they're using a keyboard? So that's what we talk about when we talk about voice search. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locators, which is interesting. Until researching this article, I don't think I actually knew what that stood for. But it is the location or address of individual pieces of content. So YouTube, for example, is the youtube.com/video/ whatever tag they give to that specific video, or the title they give to that video then goes in there. That becomes part of the URL. That becomes part of the address of that unique piece of content. Why is this important? Because you got to have your keyword in your URL so that people can find the content. The URL is the first thing, one of the first things Google looks at when determining, what your content is all about, whether or not it's high quality. So having your keyword in there is super important. So that's what your URL is. Webmaster Guidelines. So Google likes to publish the best practices. So I don't know what to do for SEO. Well, look it up on Google. Literally, I always do searches for SEO related stuff. And sometimes if there's something related to it on Google, Google has their own blog where they will tell you, this is what you should be doing. This is an update we have coming out. This is what we're trying to do with the update. This is what you should do to prepare. If you experience if you experience drops in your traffic after the core update, here's what that could mean. Here's how you can fix it. So those are the webmaster guidelines. This is Google's way of saying, here's what you need to do to get the most, to get us to like you, or get their algorithm to like you. A meta tag. It's one of those things that sounds scary. It's really not that scary. It's a piece of code embedded into specific parts of the content on each page of your website to give Google more information about that piece of content. I know that sounds really scary. It's really not. It sounds a lot more intimidating than it is. Most web developer sites like WordPress, Squarespace, Wix give you an opportunity to they make it really easy for you. They go, here's the box for your meta description, and you type it in and it takes care of the coding part for you. Headlines are the same way, right? Next on my list is title tag and header tags. What's your title? What's the subheading? What's the subheading, right? Those all need to be formatted differently, and they need to be tagged as such. If you just put it in bold, yeah, your readers will see that it's a little bit different formatted wise, so they might be able to guess it's a header tag. Google will have no idea. So you want to give it a little bit of that little bit of tag in there. That little bit of HTML to tell Google, hey, this is a heading, this is a subheading, this is a subheading. Title tags are, let's see, I'm pulling up mine up right now. H1, which is your title tag. H2, H3, H4, H5, all the way down to H6. I've never gone down to H6. I may have gone down to H4 at one point. But then you're really getting into the weeds at that point. So that's what your title and header tags are. Alt tag. So your alt tag goes into a piece of visual content. It could be a video you've embedded. It could be an image that you've embedded into your website to, again, great for people because we are visual creatures. Google, not so much. Google is getting better at being able to read audio visual content. Is still not great. It still relies primarily on text. So the alt tag is there just as a way to tell Google, here's what's in this content. I've heard mixed things about including keywords in your alt tag. Google has said that a lot of people say you should get your keyword in there because it's a meta tag, right? Google looks at meta tags first before it looks at the rest of your content, so get your keyword in there. Google, I think it's John Mueller of Google, has said, yeah, no, we don't really use the alt tag except for image searches. So if you want that image for some reason to show up for that particular keyword, then great, go ahead and use it. But as far as the SEO of that whole piece of content, that whole page, alt tag isn't going to do much for you. So, but you do need an alt tag. Since hearing that advice from Google, I have just gone to using the alt tag as a way to provide a brief description of what this is all about. Meta description. So when you search something on Google, you get that list of results, right? Each result has the title of the result and then like a paragraph, half a paragraph, right below it that gives you a little idea of what's in the content. That's your meta description. If you don't label a meta description, if you don't have a space on the back end of your website that says here's the meta description, if you need help with that, Yoast does that. I think AIO SEO, which stands for all-in-one SEO. That's the plugin I like to use on my website for SEO purposes. They will give you a little box to create a meta description. So again, you don't have to worry about coding, but that is that's something Google looks at before looking at the rest of your content. B, people are going to read that before clicking through. They're going to use that as a way to determine, is this about what I'm looking for, or is it about something else entirely? If they don't see the keyword in that meta description, they're going to go, oh, this isn't really about what I need. I'm going to go find what I need somewhere else. I do that all the time. If I don't see the keyword, if I don't see the full keyword, if I see part of the keyword and I go, no, I need this and this together, right? Then that's your meta. That's going to be an indicator as to whether or not this is really about what I'm searching for, or is it about something else entirely? So absolutely have your target keyword in your meta description. Ranking. So like I said, when you search anything on Google, you get a whole list. It used to be in pages, and now it's just one endless scroll. We used to talk about, there used to be a joke, if you're not on the first page of Google, you might as well be dead, because no one's going to, the joke is, sorry, I messed up the joke. The joke is the best place to hide a body is on the third page of Google, because no one goes to the third page of Google. So now there are no pages on Google. So it's less fun to say it that way. People are still in general going to look at those first 10 results. They're not going to scroll endlessly to find what they need. If they don't see what they need fairly soon, they're going to try a different keyword. They're going to try something else, or they're going to click on one of those results. So you better be there. So your ranking is just where are you ranking? Another way of saying this is SERP, which stands for Search Engine Ranking Position. It's just another way of talking about where does your website rank for these particular keywords. Featured snippets. Sometimes Google will display a section of content from one of the highest ranking websites for that search term if they think it can give you the answer you're looking for in that section of content. So this is sometimes a featured snippet. Sometimes it's a zero-click search result, I'll talk a little bit about later. But featured snippets can also be like if you have a list like this, SEO terms, right? If Google likes this enough, they might put it up as a featured snippet. So when someone searches SEO terms, they're going to get a list of it's just going to be a portion of the SEO terms. It's not going to go into the full description. But again, it's going to pull up those meta tags, right? It's going to pull up the header tags and give people just a piece of that list so people can get an idea of what's there. Again, as a way to determine if they're going to click through to read more. It's longer than your typical meta description. Google decides this, by the way. You don't get to create your featured snippet. You get to hope that you get chosen as the website that gets a featured snippet in the result. So Google creates that. Google crowns the featured snippet receivee, right? I know I'm not saying that correctly, but you know what I mean. They get to determine who gets that precious featured snippet. Super valuable because it's usually the first, maybe the second result in a list of search results. And because it's such a rich result and so big and prominently placed, most of the clicks go there. Not all of the clicks, but most of them. So kind of related to that is the zero-click search result, which is kind of the next iteration of featured snippet. Unlike featured snippet, where the idea is to get people to click through to your website to read more, the idea behind the zero-click search result is to give people an answer to their question without clicking through to your website. Again, the example I used earlier of like how many teaspoons in a tablespoon, right? You can search that on Google and something will pop up. It won't be from Google itself. It'll be from another website that will pop up as a featured snippet saying 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. And you don't have to click through to find that result. You never visit that website. You just go, okay, I got what I need, back to baking or cooking or whatever, right? So this is obviously a problem for those of us who rely on traffic coming to our website to get the answers to the questions that we're discussing on our website. So people have kind of freaked out about this. I do think if they're looking for a really quick answer, it's best to just give them a really quick answer. If they really want to dive in depth into a topic, that's when they're going to click through to your website and say, I want to know more. What else is there? and then they're going to read your whole blog post, or at least parts of it, right? So don't really worry about the 0-click search result. I don't try to optimize for it. I don't try to fight the system. It's just, if you want to know what a local pack is and my answer pops up and you don't have to click through for more, then that's fine, because that's what this blog post is for, or this video is for. But if you want to know the whole process of creating a marketing persona, right? That's a process. That's not a quick answer. So you're going to have to click through to my website to get that information. So local pack, I teased that. Did you see how I did that? I'm teasing that. So a local pack, anytime you search for, I need such and such near me, and the map feature pops up embedded in the Google search results, and you get 3 results, right? There's always more than 3 results, but you get the 3 top results right there, prominently placed, hopefully nearest you. That's the way it's supposed to work. Sometimes Google works in other features. But that's known as a local pack, is those 3 local search results. All right. I'm going to talk about keywords and then I'm going to quit. What is a keyword? That's a search term. Any word or phrase people are entering into Google, or asking Siri, or asking Google Home, whatever, asking Alexa, whatever system they're using to look for information, that's their keyword. Short tail keywords are keywords that are 1 to 2 words long. They tend to be really broad. Content marketing or just marketing is really broad. I was on a podcast this morning, right? And he was like, okay, I know you do marketing. What parts of marketing? What do you want me to focus on? I had to give him guidance, because marketing is such a broad term, and I don't do everything there is to do in marketing, because I don't think anyone does, or if they do, they don't do it very well. So I focus on content marketing, SEO, and blogging. So those are the things I can talk about, and email marketing. So that's a short tail keyword, really broad, can give you lots of subtopics there. But they also tend to be super competitive because everyone is using those terms. So that's what a short tail keyword is. Long tail keywords are search phrases that are 3 to 5 words long. You tend to get fewer people, so a lower search volume with those. But when they do use them, it's because they're looking for something specific. So if you have that something specific, if you have the long tail keyword in your meta description, for example, people are more likely to click through, engage with your content, take the next step to becoming at least a warm lead, if not a client. All right, now we're going to talk about searcher intent. What is it people are looking for when they use a particular keyword? We have 3 main categories. First is informational keywords. Those are the how-tos, the what is. This is the I just discovered content marketing as an example, right? And I want to know, what is content marketing? What is a content marketer? What's the difference between content marketing and SEO, right? So that's an informational keyword. Great for blog posts, terrible for sales pages, because they're not looking to buy. They just want to know what something is or how it works. Navigational keywords are when you know what the company is or who the person is, but you can't remember exactly their URL, or you just don't want to be bothered to type it into the URL box. I do this all the time with sites like Amazon, which I know I have bookmarked somewhere. And yet I still don't even go to the bookmark. I just type in Amazon into the search bar. And of course, it's the first one that comes up because Google knows what I'm looking for. That is a navigational keyword. Last but certainly not least, we have the commercial keywords, also known as transactional keywords. If they're not yet ready to buy, they're close to ready to buy. These are the search terms like content marketing services near me, or best roller skates. These are the words they use when they're thinking about buying. They're comparison shopping before they finally click that buy button. So those are the keywords that you need to use on your sales pages, because you want to direct people using those search terms to your sales pages so you can convert them into a client. Search volume. Anytime you research a keyword, you'll find a number labeled volume. Sometimes it's called search volume. This refers to the average number of searches using that keyword per month. Might go up and down per month, from month to month, but it averages out to this number of searches per month. Then you've got your SEO difficulty, also sometimes called keyword difficulty score. The name might vary a little bit depending on the tool you're using. This is an indication of how hard it will be to rank for that keyword based on how many people out there are already creating content using that keyword. So for example, you've got, I just, oh, so it's the difficulty score is a number from 1 to 100. 1 being no one is using this keyword. Go for it. You'll rank right away. 100 being everyone is using this keyword. You don't have a chance of ranking for it. So obviously you want to avoid keywords with a score of 50 or higher. Ideally 25 or lower. My tool that I use is SERPstat. Recommends 25 or lower, and then it changes color. It goes from green to yellow, and then once you get above, I guess once you get above 50, it goes red. It goes, yeah, no, don't even bother with this. So even with 25, it's a little like, but you can go up to 35, I would say. But definitely don't bother if it's over 50. Local queries. Anytime someone is searching, I need such and such near me, that's a local query because they are looking for something in a specific geographic area. Similarly, there are regional keywords where they are looking for someone or something in a specific geographical area that may or may not be where they are right now. If you're planning a trip to Chicago and you want to know where are the best places for deep dish pizza in Chicago, that would be a regional keyword. Seasonal trends. Keywords are seasonal, just like everything else. There are some that are constant. There are some that have a general upward trend and some have a general downward trend, right? AI, ChatGPT is one of those that like skyrocketed. No one was searching for it, and then everyone was searching for it, right? But sometimes you have things that come around seasonally. Summer vacation, as I'm recording this, it is the beginning of May. I'm going on vacation in 2 days. Lots of people are looking for summer destinations. This is also something that seems to come up every time I'm networking is, where are you traveling this summer, right? So summer travel destinations, that is a seasonal keyword. Another big one is like New Year's resolutions or gift giving guide. Gift giving guide, you can kind of work throughout the year because we do have other things like Mother's Day coming up, and then we have Father's Day, and there are birthdays all year round. So it doesn't have to be just the holidays, but you definitely tend to get more of those searches during the holidays. So pay attention when you're researching a keyword to when that keyword gets searched the most. Seed keywords. These are the primary words that describe the products or services you provide. So they're probably going to be short tail keywords, but you can start with that and then look for related keywords. You can then use synonyms. You can use it as a topic, a pillar for your content that then has a bunch of clustered topic around it. It used to be content pillars and now it's topic clusters, right? So that's your main pillar page. And then you have a bunch of other related topics on other blog posts that all relate to that, those are the longer tail, more specific targeted keywords, but they're all going to lead to that pillar content. So they're all going to link back to it. So that's really good for your SEO juice. It's also great for like, I don't know what to write about. What are people asking about blogging these days, right? So that's an indication of a good seed keyword. And those are never going to change until you start changing your services, right? That's going to be the kind of thing that you can use over and over again. So have a list or something of those. Query is another term for search or keyword. And then my next favorite is relevant searches or relevant query, because so many people spend so much time trying to get traffic to their website that they completely forget about getting relevant traffic to their website. Are the people coming to your site actually looking for what you're providing? Or are they looking for something completely unrelated? Because if you just want traffic, that's a lot easier than getting the right traffic to your website. So make sure you are targeting relevant searches and relevant queries. Again, your keyword tool should help you with this by showing, here are the websites that are ranking for this. Are those websites affiliated with companies that actually provide what I provide or something related to what I provide? PPC, this is stands for pay per click. It's digital marketing or digital advertising, right? So you pay to get people to click. That's why it's called a pay per click campaign. You're not paying for views. You're not paying to show up for a certain amount of time. You are paying for each click. It's also a bidding system. So that leads to the next one, which is CPC, cost per click. Most keyword research tools, in addition to showing you volume and difficulty, will also show you PPC and CPC. It'll show you the average CPC. It's a bidding system. So you can bid the average CPC. You'll probably end up somewhere in the middle. You can bid higher, pay a little bit more per click, and then you're going to rank a little bit higher, or you can even go a little bit lower, and then you're going to be ranked a little bit lower in the ads. So that's how online advertising works. And that is everything I'm going to talk about in this video, because my voice is running out. So check out the blog AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com. And then head over to the blog for the full list. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly at info@avwritingservices.com. Thanks so much. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.